Okay, it's getting ready to live stream. I think somebody was in admit Dina's iPad. Yeah. Yay, now we're going live. Muting. Woohoo. Chat, I can see. And now I'm going to share my screen and turn off my audio. No, off my video. Share my screen first. And you don't need to see me. So I think that's good. I think I've got everything set up the way I need to at this moment. I can see everybody in the Zoom. Yay. I can see what's going on online. Yay. And I think we're good. Okay, so this is hopefully going to get easier each and every time I do it. Just in case you are new here, these are the live office hours, and this happens in two parts. For people who want a little bit more interaction, you all are live in my Zoom room. Yay! And for people who are like, look, I just want to listen, or you're watching or listening later, then you are going to be via YouTube. So, yeah, I think that is it. Let's go ahead and get started. I do want to say, though, for my people who are live, is there anything that you specifically want me to cover? And that would be anybody in YouTube or anybody else. Is there anything specific you want me to cover today? Otherwise, we're just going to go into questions.
I'm fine. Questions are great.
Questions are great. All right. Well, then here we go. Hopefully, let me do a test chat here. I don't know. I want to make sure that everybody on YouTube sees us. Oop. There's this. And give me one more second. This is why we started early. So, testing chat. Can those watching see and hear me? Oh, Antonio, you said math if possible. Great. Okay, now I know there should be some math questions in here, so we'll catch it as it goes along. Perfect. All right, here we go. Number 15. Now, if you weren't here last Friday, these questions, these are the first times I'm going through these. Oh, you're on the YouTube now? Perfect, Carl. These are questions I'm going through them for the first time too, as I study for my real estate exam for a different state. But all of these were questions that I'm getting from a book from Everand. Also, I'm trying to not get sued here. So if you missed it last week, what you can do is go to this website, pull it up. It's called Everand.com. You can get it for 30 days free, then it's $11.99 a month after that. When you do a search, you get different books they have state specific, they have national, and I've chosen a book to go through and just do these questions with. So I don't get any benefit from showing this to you, but if you're somebody who's like, ugh, I've memorized all the questions and all the practice stuff that I have, then this is where you want to go. So let's go with number 15. The liquidation of a debt is known as, wait, did we do that one last week? I think we did. So let's do 16. We'll start with 15. Does anybody remember the answer to 15? The liquidation of a debt is known as amortization, depreciation, rescission, or season. So anybody live in the YouTube, you all can just unmute and tell me what you think. Or if you are, I'm sorry, live in the Zoom, you can tell me. Just remember, I can't see the chat in the Zoom as easily. So just unmute if you're in the Zoom. So anybody have a thought for number 15? Oops, somebody else is joining us. Let me let them
Is
in.
it season?
No, it is not season. It is
Okay.
not season. Remember, season, the covenant of season has to do with general warranty deeds. And when
Okay.
a general warranty deed, there is, in fact, just showing you, and this is the last thing we did last week when I was doing this on Friday, the covenant of season. Hey, Angela, go ahead and turn your camera off, but unmute yourself. There you go. Not unless you want to be seen by all the internet, which, hey, you know. But the covenant of season means, oh, I'm the owner and I actually have legal ownership. I own this property. So it's not season. We've eliminated season.
Is it
Carl
Is it
A?
said C.
rescission?
Ah, Dina, it is
Okay.
a amortization.
Oh, okay.
Very good, Dina. And Carl, I saw you say C, rescission. Well, remember, rescission is one of the ways that you can make things right when somebody terminates a contract. So when, let's say, Carl, I get under contract with you. We have a bilateral contract for whatever. All of a sudden, we decide we don't want to do this anymore. I would say terminate, but let's say I breach. If you're not happy with what the situation is, you can go to a judge and you're asking the judge to rescind the contract or basically take us back to where we were before there was ever a contract. I like to think of it as the annulment for a breach of contract. Just like when you get an annulment, it's like you're never married. The judge in a rescission is taking you back to your original, what you originally had. I'm pretty sure we all knew it was not depreciation. I'm pretty sure I'm about to spray my cat down. It's amazing what you can accomplish with some water and a cat. We know it's not depreciation. The answer is A, amortization. That is that amortization chart that you all see that we talk about, where that's how you get the amount of the P&I payment. So, Candace, I just saw this in chat. You're dropping in to say hi, and you passed the Tennessee in the national test. I just saw that. We have to stop and celebrate that with a
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-double-O-D-J-O-B. Good job, good job.
I don't know if you all can hear the music. Let me know on YouTube if you can. But you also earned a...
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
I love it. And Candace, that is amazing. If you have any advice, you can drop it in the chat and I will read it off to my people who are on YouTube. But guys, the reason I celebrate all this is to show you it can be done. Woohoo! You are very welcome, Candace. I mean, being named Candace, you had an advantage. So perfect. Okay, good. I figured out how to share the sound. Now everybody can hear the sound. Love it. And I love that you passed. So I always want to hear back when people are passing. I want you all to come back and say, hey, I passed. It reminds me this is why I do this, right? So amortization is that P&I, that factor. You know that you're going to slowly pay off your debt by making a monthly payment and it's a fully amortized. It's not changing. Some of it is the amount of the payment is not changing. What is changing is how much is principal and how much is interest. All right, let's go on to question 16. Make it smaller. Boop, there we go. Wait, I know we did 16. Let's try 17. Which of the following statements is true about tenancy in common? Which of the following statements is true about tenancy in common? Remember, when we see these questions, we want to go, it's asking for what's true. So 3 of these things will be false. 1 will be true. And these are one of these questions where the devil is in the details. A lot of times, I haven't even looked at this yet, but a lot of times we can narrow this down to 2. And then we're struggling between which 2 is the right answer. So let's just look at the answer choices. We take A by itself. Is it true or false? Tenancy in common requires that ownership be split 50-50. Jessica, you came to say you passed too? Hey, Juana, another person passing. Sorry, guys. Yes, we have to celebrate another person passed the test.
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-double-O-D-J-O-B, good job, good job.
Hey, Jessica, I love it. And I know how hard you worked at this.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
Another one, doop, doop, doop. Another one passed the test. Hey, am I crazy? Yes. But is it helping people pass? Also, yes. So we'll take the crazy. We will. That's what we'll do. So back to our question here. 17.4a. Tenancy in common requires that ownership be split 50-50. Is that true? Can anybody tell me if that is true?
Not true.
It is not true. Very good, Dina. Very, very good. We could have as many owners as we want, and maybe I own 80% and you own 20%. Or maybe you own 80% and Caroline owns 5% and Cam owns 5% and I own the other 10%. I mean, it doesn't matter. So we know it's not A. Great. All right. Then we've got B. Tenancy in common is the most frequent form of joint ownership. Now, when it's saying joint ownership, I'm assuming what they're talking about is going to be just co-ownership. They're not saying joint tenancy, like joint tenancy. They're just saying more than one person. So is that true? Tenancy in common is the most frequent form of joint or co-ownership. Well, what are our options? We got tenancy in common, we got joint tenancy, we got, in some states, tenancy by the entirety. I would say that tenancy in common is probably most common, which is why we probably call it tenancy in common. So, okay, I like B, but we also don't want to just stop there. Let's make sure we know if C or D is wrong, because that's a good way to study too. Can we find the detail that makes C or D wrong if B is even is right? So a person who owns property and tenancy in common may not mortgage his or her interest without consent of the other party or parties. That's not true. Your interest is your interest. You can do what you want. Now, there is no rule that says a bank has to give you a mortgage on just your interest. I mean, I guess if you're half owner of the Taj Mahal, they might do it, but that's not true. You can. It's that may not mortgage. That makes that statement not true. And then D, tenancy in common confers the right of survivorship. What does confers mean? I think sometimes we see words that we're not used to every day. They like to bust out with the SAT words. Confers means to like transfer or to give. Do you get the right of survivorship and tenancy in common? Anybody?
No, I don't think so.
You don't, Caroline, because you're
Nope.
a genius. Yay! You don't get the right of survivorship and tenancy in common. You would get it in joint tenancy. You would
Yes.
get it in tenants by the entirety if your state, practices that. But yeah, C and D are definitely wrong. A is definitely wrong, which means B is our answer. Guys, I can't tell you how important it is as you're studying for this to make sure that you are definitely figuring out why the wrong answers are wrong. And don't just stop reading at B. Once you go, oh, B sounds correct, awesome and all, but make sure C and D are wrong. Because remember, sometimes you're choosing the best answer, not just the right answer. All right, number 18. An example of functional obsolescence is... An example of functional obsolescence is it A, one bathroom in a 3-bedroom house, B, a crack in the basement floor, C, the lack of a built-in barbecue in the backyard, or D, white wall paint in all the rooms?
A crack in the basement floor, B.
You said a crack in the basement floor. Now, Carl said A, and Candace said knowing your vocab was the biggest help. And this is a vocab question, Candace, so I understand. So it is not going to be a crack in the basement floor. That would be an example of physical deterioration.
It's A.
Dina says it's A, one bedroom, one bathroom in a 3-bedroom house. Carl says it's A, and I have to agree with you all.
Yeah, I was just gonna say A too.
There you go. Now, we want to remember when you're studying, go through. Tamika says A. I love it. We have 3 ways. This is, let me pull up as a review. Boom. Let me find it. Sorry to make you scroll.
It's because it's outdated, right? That there's only one bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember,
okay.
when we're talking about, boop, and make it so you all can see my thingy here. We're talking about the cost approach. You have to depreciate. Once you rebuild and price it, you got to depreciate it. It's either the breakdown method or the age straight life method. And we're talking about the breakdown method. You can have physical deterioration, talking about the fact that, hey, no, something's wrong with the house. It's wear and tear. It's either curable or incurable. Functional obsolescence means it's out of date, like you just said. Somebody just said it in YouTube. It's out of date. It's something's going on where, like, having one bathroom in a 3-bedroom house, ill. Call me American first world problems, but absolutely not unless I'm living in the house alone. And even then, when company comes over, I have to share my bathroom. I don't think so. And then you've got C, economic obsolescence. That is when there's something outside the home that's causing a loss in value, like you're near the city dump or you're close. IKEA moved in next door and now you live next to the IKEA. Although that seems great at first and all the meatballs you could eat, eventually you're going to get sick of the traffic and the people and just all of that. So that would be economic obsolescence. Making our answer, of course, A. Any questions on that? Is anybody lost on any of those? You know, that is the point. I'm here. Hey, Trix, I see you here now. That's the point. The point of this is, yes, we're going over questions, but it should be a good review too. And if you're sitting here watching, whether you're with me in the YouTube, via YouTube or the Zoom, say, hey, that reminds me. Can you tell me about? Let's see, number 19. Make it small. And make it small again. Nope. Let's go back a page. And let's make it bigger. Oh, there it is. I'm gonna pull it together. No, it's not. Gosh darn it. You're just gonna have to pretend, people. That's what happens when you get free. I'm not playing with it anymore. The URAR is used to appraise a what? The URAR is used to appraise is it A, single family residence, B, condominium, C, co-op unit, or D, commercial property other than residential units? Now, I'm not even going to lie to you. As a teacher, I'm like, URAR.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anybody know what the URAR is? Tell me as the
No.
teacher. I'm like, what? I mean, I know what USPAP is. Dina, do you know what it is?
No, I've never seen it.
Right? Y'all, it's not just me. As a teacher, this is why I'm doing the question. Because what if this had been my Michigan exam? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Carl said, what is the URAR? I would vote commercial, but you're not sure. Okay, let's see what we think it could possibly be. I mean, there's so many R's there.
I'm thinking
wanna
co-op.
Residential, just because because a condo and a co-op. Oh, I don't know.
know.
Maybe it would be commercial. Crap. Okay, let me think about this. A single family residence, a condo, and a co-op are all out. Never mind, Angela. Angela is the winner. Angela is the winner. You all can't see it in the chat if you're in the Zoom, but she said uniform residential appraisal report. Boo. So let me kind of say, let me share a different, well, you know what? Y'all can imagine. Uniform Residential Appraisal Report. Angela wins. Okay. Bill. I just would have called it the appraisal report. The URAR talk about. But okay. So if Angela is correct, it's the Uniform Residential Appraisal Report, which I think she's correct. I would have guessed R because of all the R's. So a single family residence, regardless of whether it's a condo or co-op unit. Yeah, R for residence. Guys, again, if I was taking this test, I wouldn't have known. I feel bad. I didn't know. That's just not what we call it in practice. Nobody goes around saying, "Oh, let me get a URAR." I mean, maybe in appraisals, but not in real estate sales. So let me check the answers just to make sure we are correct. That is problem 19, and it says our answer is. Oh, wait, that's the wrong picture. Okay. I was like, that's not right. All right, let's see. Let's get to the right answer. No,
It's
not
A.
that. And 19 is A. Woohoo! We're right. We are correct. Yay. I was about to go, oops, we're not right. All right, number 20. So I learned something. The URAR could be abbreviated the Uniform Residential Appraisal Report. They said that's how you feel at testing. It's so different. I know. That's why I encourage you all to test from other sources. It sounds like one person out of all of us recognized, and that was Angela, recognized that, oh, that's the the report. Now, Angela, if you knew that off the top of your head, take the credit. If you Googled it, take the credit. But now none of us are going to forget. None of us are going to forget that. We didn't have to sit down and memorize it. We'll just know. I love taking questions from other sources. Number 20, which of the following is not part of a legal description of real property? Which of the following is not part of a legal description of real property? So we've got the monument description of the property, the street address of the property, the lot and block system, or the meets and bounds system. Now, Angela says B. I see Angela getting some answers. I would tend to say B, but what do you all think? Is there anybody feeling strongly about this?
What does A really mean? Monument description.
The monument description of the property. My guess is they're talking about My guess is that they're going to be talking about the monuments. Like when you have a meets and bounds, the meets are distance and directions, and the bounds are boundaries. And where that boundary is usually like a monument, or when you're starting off, like start at this point and then go 50 feet before you get to the start of beginning.
Okay.
The start of, right, point of beginning. That is a monument. So knowing that, I would have to say B, street address for this answer. And it looks like Tamika, Antonio, everybody, I think B is right. I'm going to go with B. Let me test our answer choices here. It is, in fact, number 20 is B. Look at that. We might pass. I wonder if they'll let us take the test together. I know, Antonio, these terms you've never heard of. This is why I do this, guys, because I know it's been 22 plus years since I took this test for North Carolina, but I distinctly remember going into that test and sitting down, and if I had not gone to my public library, because the internet was not what it is today, and taken other practice exams from other books, terms and things like that, I would have been screwed. I would have failed. Knowing your vocab, even the things that are just synonyms, are the difference between passing and failing. I will just stand on that ground. I will.
Can I just say that I've listened to this synonym video twice now because I still forget, I have to just drill it in my head.
I know. I'm glad it helps. I'm glad the synonym video helps. It just, clearly there's so many synonyms, even after 22 years, I don't know them all. But the more you take practice exams, and when you all see, oh, this random book over here used a term, and here it's been used in this exam, and it's used in that exam, that's a term you need to know. Will there be some one-offs? Yes. But if we can know the majority of this stuff, we should pass. That is a we. All right. Let's fix our setting here. 21. The Krasners have just bought a home for $550,000. This is the home's A, market value, B, appraised value, C, value in use, or D, assessed value. I'm thinking the answer has value in it. Carl said you're on your second run with the vocab video. The content is gold. Good. I'm glad you like it. Market value, appraised value, value in use, assessed value. Well, I know value in use, and that's not sounding familiar to me. Assessed value, I know has to do with taxes. I've now got it down to 2. It's either A or B. Who's thinking something? Okay, Carl and Angela are saying A. Tamika saying A.
I think market value.
You think market value? Caroline thinks it's
Yes.
A.
I think it's a market value as well.
You think it's A too? I think it's A too. Of course it's A. Appraised value is what the appraiser finds, right? But the market value is what somebody actually would pay for it. There you go. Ooh, number 22 has some math. 22, we're going to do it, not because everybody has math on their exam, but I think it's a good practice question. What I'm going to do is write down the details on my iPad, and then I'll share my iPad so that you all can see everything. Give me one moment. The tax rate is 22 mils. You know, why don't I do the share my, okay. Next time, somebody remind me, don't share my computer screen, share my iPad screen. And then maybe I can, I don't know. 22 mils for the township. And you all try the math while I'm writing it down. 29 mils. And what do you know about mils for the school district?
Divide by 1,000.
Divide by 1,000. That's what I'm talking about. If the taxes on, if the assessed value, so the ass value, yes, I did call it ass value, is $75,000 on a property worth $75,000 at 67% value. All right. I didn't quite write down everything, but you all will be able to get the point. So let me share my iPad. It'll take a second. Do, 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 do. There it is. So the question read, the tax rate is 22 mils for the township and 29 mils for the school district. This means this town is saying, look, we have extra taxes to make the schools better. And we know the value of it is 70, the assessed value is going to be 67% of this 75,000. So what I would do to do this problem is I would find that $75,000 and I would multiply it by 67% to find the actual assessed value. So 70, oh, what are you buying for $75,000? Please let me know. Times 67%. That means our assessed value is 50,250. And then I'm going to take my 22 mils and my 29 mils and add it together. That's 4. What is that? 11, carry the 1, 51 mil. 51 mils. Dear G. Okay. Okay. 51 mils sounds a little high, but all right. So what I know about mils is that I know 1 mil is equal to 1/10 of 1 cent. If you were to take 0.01 and divide it by 10, you would get 0.001. Which, you know, this is the tenths place, this is the hundredths place, this is the thousandths place, which is why Cam said, divide something by 1,000. Divide something by 1,000. So what I tend to do is take the 50,250. I'm going to divide it by 1,000 and I'm going to multiply by 51. So 50,250 divided by 1,000. Then I'm going to multiply that by 51. That means your tax bill is $2,562.75. So first, before I go any further, does everybody understand what I did? Hopefully
Yes.
so. Now, the real question is, did Candace do it right? Y'all, I have to say, there's a bit of vulnerability in me doing these problems for the first time in front of y'all. There's no guarantee I am right.
That's what I got.
Whew, that's what you got too. I'm just saying, as a teacher, I like y'all to know I am not perfect. I'm like, oh, I hope I did that right. But if I didn't, we figure it out together. Don't feel like the people who are already licensed or your teachers are better or somehow smarter. We just, there you go. And Carl, you said you've never seen two tax rates. There you go. I love that. Now, I will say, Carl, sometimes they'll say town or city, plus there'll be a county. So there'll be a town or city rate and there'll be a county rate. You always pay county taxes, but you only pay town or city taxes when you live in the town or the city. So that's just a little helpful hint. Let me check our answer key, see if I'm correct. This is number 22. Survey says D. Oh, wait, it helps if I look at the answer choices. Hey, we got it right, y'all. We got it right. You got it right. Hey, we got it right. I'm over here doing a dance because, again, I would feel pretty silly if I got it wrong. But, yeah, what's the worst that happens? I'm wrong. It's not the test. I'm learning. So I'm the real avenger of real estate. So there's stuff. Hey, I didn't get URAR, so I'm not perfect. Okay, we got that right. Let's do number 23, unless somebody has a question. To manage a property, I'm skipping this property because not every state has the same. Some states you have a property management license, some states you don't, and I don't want to confuse anybody. So I'm a skip that one. 24. Which of the following questions is one of the tests of whether something is a fixture? Ooh, bonus points if one of y'all can tell me what the name of the tests that determines whether or not something is a fixture. But which of the following questions is one of the tests of whether something is a fixture? Angela said Maria. So is it A, how the item is attached? B, who attached the item? C, can the item be removed? Or D, how long has the item been attached?
Isn't there another term though, like test of something?
Well, it's the total circumstances test.
Yes.
So the name of the test is the total circumstances test. All
I
right.
think it's A.
I would go with A too. We know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's not B and it's not D. We don't care who attached it. We don't care how long it's been attached. Can the item be removed or how is the item attached? Well, I think how the item is a better. I'm going to lean towards A. Can the item be removed? I mean, if it can be removed, it's not clear enough. If you can remove it without destroying or having to change something, then it's a fixture. So I'm going to
And
go with you
also,
all
if you-
A.
Yeah, if you remove it, then it's personal property, so
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Which
Okay, I'm
one-
gonna go with
which-
A. I'm going
which-
with A too, y'all. This is where I might fail this test. Overthinking. You all said A. Let me see. Are you all right? Let me trust my friends here. Number 24. The answer is A. You all are geniuses. I would have overthought it for way too long. Nice. The answer is A. How was the item attached? Love it. All right. Let's see if I can. This is free, and I know it's free, but it's really a pain in the butt to have to figure out the sizing of these questions. All right. 25. Why are deeds recorded after closing? Answer is E, because I said so, but no. Why are deeds recorded after closing? Is it A, as the final step in filing title insurance? B, as a part of the mortgage process. C, to give public notice that the title has passed. Or D, as the final step in passing title from seller to buyer.
Oh, it's C or D.
I think it's D.
You think it's D. Caroline thinks it's
Yes.
D. I'm going to say it's not C because when you record, you don't give public notice. What kind of notice are you giving when you record? Constructive notice. But good guess. It's that's the details, not public notice. Well, it's not part of the mortgage process, and it's not the final step in filing title insurance. That's not it. So I think that has to be D2.
Yeah.
Now, remember, just even though I think and I know the answer is D, because it's the only one it can be, remember, deeds don't have to be recorded. You record it to give constructive notice and to get the protection from the law. But D is the best answer choice of the ones that we have here. And good job with the constructive notice, Miss Trix and Mr. Carl. Good job. I see y'all. All right.
Public notice makes me think of public records. You know, that's where I was like,
Oh.
oh, public notice, public.
Yeah, that whole idea of notice, you've got actual notice,
Yeah.
constructive notice. It's just a term, but I can see. We're going to pretend you didn't say that so nobody else gets that in
I
your
know.
head.
Sorry. Don't
It's
hear
okay.
that.
No, you're good. No, it's good because you are probably not the only person thinking that. And I know that, so I've heard students say that before. So it's good to know you're not alone in that. All right. So answer is D. Love it. Is this helping?
Yes.
Helping? Good. Yay.
Yes, I love to do this.
Okay. I just, I'm doing it because it's helping me and it's helping you. And if I need to do something different, just let me know. All right. 26. Sarah Mayfield, the owner of Sally Mae Shop, signs a lease with Shepherd Realty to rent a storefront. Sarah must pay utilities and real estate taxes. She has probably signed is it a percentage lease, a net lease, a double net lease, or a gross lease?
Double net lease?
Okay, we got a C for double net lease. Are
It's
there
B.
any? Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad it's Angela said C, and Trix, you said it's helpful.
I always
Good.
get confused with percentage lease and net lease.
All right, so let's talk about this. A percentage lease is where, let's say that you had a commercial property and I wanted to rent it out so I can open up a store. I'm going to sell glow-in-the-dark turtles. Why not? In a percentage lease, instead of your regular rent being $5,000 a month, you might say, hey, Candace, you can pay me $3,000 a month. But once you sell over $100,000 in glow-in-the-dark turtles, I want a cut of your sales. Now, since I'm selling glow-in-the-dark turtles, you're probably going to not get any money. But if I was selling something people wanted, well, then, yeah, like if it was Starbucks and you said, hey, Starbucks, I'll give you $3,000 rent, but anytime you sell over $100,000 in coffee, I now get a percentage of your sales. You're going to be rich. Can you imagine how much money that would be? That is a percentage lease. A net lease is where the tenant is paying for the things like utilities and taxes, right? So think of it, tenant is spelled T-E-N-A-N-T and net is N-E-T. The tenant is the one paying for those extra fees, right?
Okay, so it's net lease.
Well, is it net lease or is it double net lease? That's the question. Anybody know for sure?
Isn't it a
Is it
triple
net
net?
lease?
Triple net lease if it's a net lease?
Yeah,
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Double
I
net's
think
trying
so
to get
too.
you, but I've never heard of a double net being a thing.
Huh.
I would just say a net lease. I have heard of triple net lease. I've heard of net lease, but I've never heard of the double net lease. So I'm going to go with net lease. I'm going to triple check to make sure that I am correct, but I'm going with net lease. Double net is just, it reminds me of double mint gum. but that's not what we're looking for. So let me see. Is 26B? Survey says, yes, it is B. A nice job, y'all. Nice job. And whoever said, oh, it's C. There you go, Tricks. You heard it too. You've never heard of double net. I don't. But we know we have heard of a net lease. So gross lease is the opposite of a net lease. So you all know that I'm renting a place in Michigan since I just moved here. Normal residential rental is a gross lease. I don't care if the real estate taxes go up. I mean, I pay my utilities, but you know what I mean. I don't care if HOA fees go up. It's a gross lease. That is something that the landlord has to worry about. Usually, if we're talking about net leases or gross leases, percentage leases, y'all, we're in the commercial realm. We're in the commercial realms. There we go. All right, let us see if I can fit all of this next question on one screen. All right, if that's too small, let me know. See if I can make it bigger. I don't know if that's going to make it bigger. I can. If that's too small, somebody let me know. 27. The Thomases are selling their condo. They have been going back and forth in negotiations with Brad Morse. Okay. Brad has rejected the latest counteroffer and decided to walk away. The Thomases. So when you have a question like this with these crazy names, I think it's easier to just sum up what's happened, sans or without names. There's a negotiation for a condo. Their latest counteroffer has been rejected, and the person's like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Is there what can happen now? Can you force the sale? And I would say nothing. If Brad doesn't want to play these games anymore, then Brad can walk away. I mean, so I don't even know if that's my answer choice, but that's what I think of. I mean, Brad can walk away. The Thomases could say, oh, hey, what if we met your terms? But Brad could walk away. It's like dating. Y'all, real estate and dating are the same things. Once you say the magic words, I'm out, that person, oh, I'm just kidding, I didn't want to break up with you. They don't have to take you back. So let's see what our options are. A, the Thomases can attempt to restart negotiation by making a new lower offer. B, they can accept the last counteroffer from Brad prior to their counteroffer. C, they can take their counteroffer off the table. Or D, have no action they can take. Well, I'm going to eliminate B and C, because when Brad rejected the counteroffer, that counteroffer rejection and every other counteroffer and rejection was permanent. You can't just go back into time. Nice try. That's not an option. So now what we have is a choice between A or D. Get my tongue there correct. Can the Thomases basically offer a new lower counteroffer? If Brad was like, peace out, I'm done, can the Thomases still go, but wait, what about this instead? Or do the Thomases just have to suck it up and be like, well, I guess we're done? Now, Antonio says D. Tamika says D. I think, Carl, I'm not sure if that's you saying A. My people in Zoom, what are you thinking?
I think it's A.
Dina, I'm with you. Dina. I think it's A, because just like if I was dating you, Dina, and you're obviously amazing. If you break up and I'm done with you, Candace, if I really love you, I'm like, but wait, what if I change? You could still be like, you suck, Candace, and I'm going away. But I think the Thomases still can be like, wait, you know what? Never mind. Here's a new lower offer. I'll meet your terms. So I'm going with A. Dina's going with A. Carl is going with A. Trick said they can try. You can try, but hey. And let's see. Is our answer for 27A? Survey says, yes, we are right. Boom, shakalaka laka boom. I like it. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I might pass this thing. I should hope, but I might not. I might overthink my way into don't overthink like I do. It's a fine line. Oof. Let's skip the math for right now. You know what I'll do is in a week or two, I will pick a math day. I know some of you all are California, or maybe what I'll do is on Friday, I'll do a math, like I'll do my normal hour and then I'll do math afterwards. So that people who don't have math on their test aren't having to listen to it. So maybe I'll do that Friday. I'll do my normal hour on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's noon if you're Pacific. And then after my normal hour, I'll specifically do math. There you go. A valid deed, number 29. A valid deed which has which of the following characteristics? All right. A valid deed has which of the following characteristics? Is it A, a habendum clause, B, mutual agreement, C, a warranty, or D, a legal purpose? Oof, this is a good question. I like it.
Is it between C and D?
Well, before we answer that, Miss Cam, let me rewind for a second.
Okay.
Antonio, you said it said he walks away. That's what confuses you in that last problem. So let me go backwards because I want to address that, Antonio. Just because he walks away doesn't mean you can't send an email going, I know you said no, but what about this? And I want to point that out because you all, if you're going into residential sales, one of the things you're going to be told is no. When somebody tells you no, that's just the starting point. Until you hear no, there's a famous like coach training sales technique. Until you hear no like 6 times, you don't walk away. You keep pushing. Now, this is not about dating and consent. But in real estate and in sales, if somebody says no, that's just, oh, well, what about this instead? So even though he walked away, they can still say, oh, wait, what about this now? Now, I will say, if you go into sales, what's the fine line between being crazy when somebody said, no, I'm not interested in you helping me buy or sell, and, oh, let me push them a little further. Maybe the no is they have another reason, like they're just not ready right now, but they'll be ready in 3 months. That is a skill, and that's why you take training classes. Knowing when to, okay, let me keep emailing you, and then when you're ready, you're going to know that I'm here versus this person hates me and never wants to hear from me again. That's a skill. That's a fine line. And that's what makes, it's not that real estate is hard, y'all. Finding clients in real estate is hard. So Antonio, I hope that answered that question for you, plus a little coaching. Number 29, a valid deed has which of the following characteristics? Now, Cam, you said which one? You were saying you could
I
eliminate
said between C and D.
between C and D. So I'm going to say this, Cam, in the most loving way. I think you fell for the, okey doke. I think you fell for the okey doke because, well, not the okey doke, the whole question. Now, I could be wrong, but this is how I'm looking at it. There's the essential elements of a deed, and there are the essential elements of a contract. Those are two different things. So I'm going to go here to my lists. Boop, boop. Here are the essential elements of a deed. Right? I get paid with every deal. In order for a deed to be valid, it has to be in writing. The grantor has to be competent. There has to be property description. There has to be words of conveyance. There has to be execution. There has to be delivery acceptance. And then you see here, I said words of conveyance may also be called the granting clause. Because it's got to say, if it's got my name, your name, and an address, are you inviting me to a party? Like there has to be the words of what is this piece of paper with this address doing? Versus when we talk about the essential elements of a contract, that's MCLL, mutual agreement, consideration, legal capacity, lawful objective. But it is not uncommon to get those mixed up. So the reason I say it's a little weird, well, a deed, I can eliminate C. You did say you were eliminating C, Cam, or did you say you were thinking it was C or D? I don't remember.
Yeah, I was thinking C or D because usually there's a warranty with deed, but it doesn't mean it's a characteristic. That's where
There you go.
Yeah.
Aha. So we know that warranties could be in a deed, but what if you have a quitclaim deed? We know a quitclaim deed has no warranties. So, legal purpose, and that's falling more on the essential elements
Contract.
of a contract. Mutual agreement. Now, we know a valid deed has to be given and accepted, or delivered and accepted, but I wouldn't call that mutual agreement. I think the answer is A, habendum clause. And I
That means to
know
have and to hold, right?
that's the to have and to hold clause. It's telling you, it's like the granting clause. It's telling you what type of ownership. Hey, I'm giving you this deed. Is it going to be fee simple title? Am I giving you fee simple defeasible? Is this a life estate? If it is defeasible, what are the rules there? So I would go with A, because you can't have a deed if you don't have, well, what am I giving you? That is my thought. So before I check the answer, does that make sense to everybody why I would say A?
Yes.
Yes.
D sounds good, legal purpose, but D and B are part of the essential elements of a contract. Warranties don't have to be in a deed because quitclaim deed, but I know habendum clause, granting clause, the words of conveyance, it's got to be the details of what am I giving you. So I'm going with A, habendum clause. Let me see if I'm right. Survey says this is number 29. Hey, the answer's A. The answer's A. Hey, the answer's A. Do a little dance. Okay, I'm dancing over here. Let me stop. So, yes, that is my logic. But I can see how now this is my logic after, 15 plus years of teaching. I'm hoping by doing this with you all can see why knowing your information, it's not, and I'm not saying anybody here tonight said this, but sometimes when I'm tutoring people, they go, oh, I'll know it when I see it. Like I'll ask you a direct question. You'll go, well, I can't put it in words, but I'll know it when I see it. But questions like this, you recognize the legal requirements for a contract. You recognize the legal requirements for a deed. You've got to know it so well that you can sift between the two. So hopefully that helps. I don't know. Let's make this bigger and go to number 30. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. No, smaller. All right, well, I don't know. We'll just try. I can only do so much here. Let's make this smaller. Shush. Wait, there we go. A listing agreement can be terminated by all of the following except. A listing agreement can be terminated by all of the following except. So we know 3 of these things would terminate a listing agreement and 1 would not. All right. So 3 of these things would terminate, 1 would not. Revocation, bankruptcy, remainderment, or eminent domain. Well, revocation. You can revoke a listing agreement. If I'm the seller and I just don't want to sell anymore, I can not sell anymore. You can't force me to keep my house on the market. But depending on the state and what your contract said, the agent who was supposed to be listing the property may have some recourse there. So yeah, I think a listing agreement can be terminated if you revoke it. Or you know what? You as the agent could revoke the listing agreement. If the seller's like, look, I want you to lie about the material facts, and then I want you to be racist with who comes in and can possibly buy the house. You terminate, you revoke this listing agreement. Like, nah, man, I'm not part of this. So yeah, revoking will terminate a listing agreement. Bankruptcy, yeah. Bankruptcy will terminate a listing agreement, because if the seller goes into bankruptcy, the courts put a hold on all of their financial stuff. They can't sell the house anymore, not without the court's permission. That's legal. That's the legal reasoning. Remainderment sounds like one of Santa's, reindeer. I don't know. Remainderment, I guess that's a word. I know what a remainder man is. I know what a remainder interest is, but remainderment, I don't know if that's a real legal term or if they just made it up, but I'm thinking C is not right. But I also know that D, eminent domain is the right for the government to take your property as long as they pay you market value and it's for the good of the public. And I know the action is called condemnation. So yeah, if the government says we're taking your property, you as the agent don't get to go, oh, I'm so sorry. I was planning on selling that and I had that money from that listing earmarked for, kitchen rentals. Government does not care. They do not care. They are taking your property. So yes, our answer would be C. All right.
So is that the same as termination of agency?
Yes. Termination of agency for a seller. This would be very similar.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. No, you're welcome. Because a listing agreement creates agency. Does that make sense, Dina?
Yeah, because I was thinking about the FABIO acronym and how there's termination of contract, termination of agency, and so it's kind of confusing.
Love that. So what you're talking about, FABIO, let me pull up here. FABIO.
To me, contract and agency, I'm like, oh, those kind of feel the same to me. Like,
well, you're not crazy. I mean, you might be crazy, but not for this reason. Okay. So the thing here is, close that, make it bigger. What terminates a contract is going to be in any type of contract. Any type of contract could be terminated by full performance. So if it's an agency agreement, I said I was going to list your property and find a ready, willing, and able buyer. We found a ready, willing, and able buyer. Our agreement's over, right? Surviving parenthood with boys. Oh my gosh, you passed today? Yay! Oh my goodness, I love that. Oh my gosh, we got to do the song one more time, guys. I love this song. I know y'all get sick of it, but I love it. So, surviving parenthood with boys, you get your song. It is
Good job, good job. Good job, good job. G-double-O-D-J-O-B. Good job, good job.
Congratulations. And
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure.
we had a ton of people passing this week, y'all. Yay! So happy. Love that. All right. So, termination of contract, full performance. In an agency contract, it would, once let's say I was Cam's buyer's agent. Once I help her buy a house, our agency relationship is over. I'm not still her buyer's agent after we're done. In fact, guys, another coaching moment, if you go into sales, you're going to have an it's not you, it's me breakup conversation with your buyers. Right? You're going to I literally used to say, hey, Cam, you know how we've talked every day for like the last 3 months, or at least every other day, and I've been asking you questions, and I took you around to see houses, and then we got coffee and lunch when we did that, and we became friends. Yeah. Well, that friendship, now Angela wants to buy a house. So I won't be calling you every day, but it's not you. It's me being busy with somebody else. It's embarrassing. It's hard to do, but you're going to have to do it. So somebody online said, can I provide an impossibility of performance? Yeah, impossibility of performance would be if there is a listing agreement. If the house gets blown away in a tornado to Oz, you can't list a property that's no longer there. That is different than inability to perform. If I was buying your property, Carl, and I couldn't get a loan, if there's no loan contingency in the contract, I'm just not able to perform. I'm in breach versus inability of performance. And be very clear, breach, not all breaches terminate all contracts. So it's not that you're crazy, Dina. Like all of these things will terminate a contract, but agency contracts specifically are a personal service contract, it's what it's called, and nobody can force you to stay in that contract.
Okay.
Does that kind of help a little bit?
Yes, thank you.
And then there's another chart. Sorry guys for the scrolling, but there's another chart I think you might find helpful. Boop, 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 boop. This one. I'm not sure if this makes sense to you, Dina, but I laid this out for my students because it does get weird. What terminates an agency contract versus what terminates a sales contract versus what terminates an offer? Those can get very jumbled.
Yeah.
Don't mind that termination in the OTP may be unilateral because unless you're in North Carolina, you don't have an OTP. I'm using my North Carolina slides. But hopefully take screenshot. If you want me to email you this like in a bigger
Thank
format.
you. No, this is great. I just got a good shot of it.
Yay. Great. I'm glad it helps. All right. Oh my gosh, y'all, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8. It's already 8. Okay, are we liking this format? Does this help hearing me go through these questions? I mean, besides my
Yes.
ADHD crazy ramblings, does this help hearing me go through these questions?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. And hopefully one of these days we'll get like a second teacher. I'll get Chris to come on here too so that you can hear like the more you've seen me and Chris do that. But I can't believe it's 8. I might want to eat something. So you all know we'll be doing this. Oh, good tricks. This helps. Yay. If there's something new you want me to try, you know I'm all for it. And you know, because this is live office hours, I mean, on Fridays, it's a party. You all can come to me with questions. If one of y'all takes a practice exam, not your class exam or your state exam, and you're like, Candace, help me understand this. You can share that and I will go over it. And then remember on Friday, I'll do some math afterwards. So I'll start with regular questions and I'll do math afterwards. Y'all just remind me. And if you're watching via YouTube and you want to be part of the live, like you can, it goes a little faster and I can talk to you, then just email me for the YouTube link or the Zoom link. I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? I think
Thank
that's
you
it.
so much.
You are so welcome. I will see everybody
Yes,
on
thank you.
Friday. Don't do anything I
Thank
would have
you.
done when I was young. Be me now. Young, boring, just boring. And I'll see everybody later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
Oh, Trix, you said, should you pay for the PSI practice test? It depends. There's different levels. I would tell you for the money, you might be better, unless you just want practice taking the online version. I think you'll probably find something on Everand that might work. So there you go.